Welcome back to the absolute most professional StarCraft 2, where I'm incredibly excited to introduce our first grand finalist, the Terran player in the red, the Frenchman from Team Liquid, currently ranked second in the entire world. I give you Clem. But if he's ranked second, that means there's one player ahead of him. Well, more accurately, across from him. Yes, rank 1 in the world. In my not so humble opinion, the greatest StarCraft 2 player of all time. You already know who it is, but I gotta justify my presence here with a dramatic introduction. It is the finisher. It's Serral. A best of 7. Terran versus Zerg. The epic rematch to an already incredible series from just earlier in this tournament. Though, the decision of that series leading to the situation we're starting things off. Serral, in not losing a series throughout the playoffs, starts with 1 point of advantage, whereas Clem had to battle his way through the loser's bracket after Serral just barely knocked him down. So, a 1 point advantage in this ESL SC2 Masters European Regional Finals for the winter season. But if you want winter all year round, it'll be awesome if you could like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what? 1,200 likes. 200 or so videos ago, I started saying if we get 1,000 likes, I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways. And that is still true. But we've managed to get it pretty much every single one. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get a little bit better. And thank you for making my days a little bit better as well. I'm always looking forward to Serral versus Clem. It doesn't get any better. So a little bit, it might be understating it. Because it is almost unfathomable. Serral is such an outlier. He would be discounted from most statistics. Whereas most other players in the world, like Raynor, for example, has about a 65 to 70% win rate against Terran. Very respectable. Serral, 95%. Maru has not won a series against him this year. Clem is the only Terran player in the world to have that honor, that struggle, that experience. So, is that enough? Because earlier on in the tournament, Serral managed to take it 3-2. Wasn't too far off for Clem. And then Clem faces Raynor, the second best Zerg in Europe. And he makes Terran look like it should be nerfed. His Marines gunning down dozens of Zerglings before they touch him. Banelings activating his aimbot and targeting him down one by one. But Serral is just built differently. Better, harder, faster. Arguably stronger. Or at least more efficient. Because he just seems to know exactly what to do and when to do it. Zerg is incredibly unforgiving. Serral does all the boring stuff so well. I'm actually going to go. We're going to do this a little bit more. Because I know you probably, if you haven't already seen the series, if you've been waiting for my commentary, I hope you didn't wait too long. But thank you. Otherwise, if you've already seen maybe some highlights or the games, I want to delve a little bit more into what and how the players are doing, maybe more than you get usually. And Serral does all the boring stuff better than anyone else. Larva inject, creep spread. Notice how he isn't building a whole bunch of creep tumors. There is no reason to build 8 creep tumors when 3 would work. And that doesn't seem like a big deal until you need that 1 extra transfuse. Or maybe just need to respread the creep after the Hellions come in. Serral has a tendency to be very particular about which queens he uses to do what. Whereas Clem is always looking to press the boundaries, knowing exactly how to micro those medevacs. It's an art form. You can't really pinpoint exactly what part of the micro, though in that series against Raynor, watching him set up a control group for meat shield units, sending them out in front, literally the ones we want in the wreckage, in order to body block for banelings and stuff like that he does on the fly. Kind of a throwaway control group. In fact, Jimmy, thank you. We got the control groups on the screen. They won't always be there perfectly, but I specifically had the interface modified. So that way on occasion we could see that potentially.
Our forces are under attack.
Alright. Of course, we'll get further in. Now, I haven't talked much about what's happened in the game so far. 3 bases. 1-1 for Serral, 1-1 for Clem. A little bit quicker here for Serral, which is going to be nice going forward against the mass Marines. It is about as cookie cutter, milquetoast, kind of down the middle, vanilla sort of builds that you're gonna get. This is the default macro. We got 3 bases with 5 racks going on an armory and a second factory and some widow mines. We got 5-6 hatcheries and counting. 2-2 on the way, as well as baneling speed for Serral, who will probably... Woo! A couple Marines extra die there, who will probably be adding on either an infestation pit and or a Hydralisk den in order to complete his big game tech. But Serral's at 76 drones, which is a perfectly comfortable number to continue these efforts. Good counterattack. Catches a siege tank. Grenade actually manages... Wow, he's actually going to catch a whole lot of the Zerglings on the way out. 39 Zerglings end up getting picked up there, despite getting the tank and a few Marines in the last couple battles. Infestation pit is on the way. It's just going to be mass Zerglings and Banelings in game number 1. Combat shield and baneling speed complete simultaneously. Clem gonna keep laying the pressure on. Clem is uniquely able to keep pressure even on players like Serral. Oh my god. Guns down the queens and gets out with the max amount of units left over. The margin between going too far and not going far enough is a infinitesimally small line, where if you just wander a little bit too far forward into the banelings, you lose everything. But if you do it right, a Widow Mine racks up 20, 30 kills. 30 it is. Clem slaughtering 30 Zerglings and 2 Marines. Serral got 1 Widow Mine. So a pretty efficient start, and just like that, Clem is able to draw the supplies about even. He actually has almost exactly the same army supply. 100, 100. We're keeping it 100 here to start things off. Meanwhile, a whole lot of Lings and Banes are in production. Serral is waiting out 2-2. That advantage is going to be key in taking this fight with a worse, quote-unquote, army composition. Just being able to close the distance. The Queens are holding the line for now. Lings and Banes on the right flank. Widow Mines drawn out. Oh, gets a decent connection. 2-2 is done. Serral will jump on the Marines as close as he can. The Queens have gathered. The Queen moot. But the medevacs are nearly out of energy. The splits are textbook here out of Clem. As he micros back, he has enough space to slurp up most of the Marines, and the Queens will drive back anything else. Clem actually, overall, 100 Zerglings over the last minute. Wow. 100 Zerglings per minute is maybe for Serral a sustainable rate of loss, but it's costly. And the Marines are jammed into the corner. They do have 2-2. Those Zerglings, Brenda! Queen gunned down on the ramp. Those Widow Mines have recharged over to the left flank. Drawing out the shots. Zerglings able to eat them from the mines. A few more mines at the front. And, well, Widow Mines splashing all over the medevacs as well. But look at the soup line. Just because Serral is able to win a fight doesn't mean he can capitalize and turn it into economic damage. Finally, down goes a medevac. Serral finally getting something. The hive is not quite done yet, which means as Clem gets closer and closer to maxing out, this is his time to shine. He's going to have the army composition with equal upgrades before the Vipers, and without them, it's going to be more and more difficult to dismantle this sort of unit composition. Serral, Widow Mine on the left flank, 2 Vipers on the way. Adrenal glands. Serral. Adrenal glands. Now, fight in the center of the map. Serral, Widow Mine. Heavy breath. Widow Mine getting... Oh my god! Holy sh... The field runs red over the last 2 minutes. Clem has up 234 Zerglings slaughtered. The Widow Mines. Oh my god. Making more connections than a telecom tower right now. And God, Serral eating maximum radius mines. Clem able to avoid them for now. But Serral's still holding on to his economy. That's what he does best. He falls back. It's hard to recover emotionally or physically from those sort of mine hits. There's a lot of things I want to say and not nearly enough time with which to say them, as both these players have not slowed down. They're only speeding up. Nearly 1,000 APM on average between them. And almost dead even as well. Nearly 500 apiece. The Vipers are out, but the Terran army is working its way through the northern base. Parasitic bomb onto the medevacs. The Zerglings starting to surround. The Liberator parasitic bomb. Medevac full of Marines flies through. A disastrous flight path. But Clem is continuing the production. He's got 170 to 150 supply. Adrenal glands is not done. Serral holds for now. And actually, he drives everything back. He kept his economy intact. He keeps re-spreading the creep where he needs it most. He keeps finding the larva somehow to maintain a ridiculous amount of Zergling production, despite his absolutely cataclysmic losses. And right now, Clem is knocking on the door of victory, but Serral is more than ready to try to slam it shut. Adrenal glands is nearly done. The supply is not looking good for the finisher. Clem off to such a strong start, but the Widow Mines hit both sides. They don't discriminate. They only lock on to the enemy, but anything nearby is vulnerable. 3-3 on the way for both sides. Serral, holding. But he's lost 8,000 more minerals. About even on gas. He just can't quite get enough larva or minerals to rebuild. The Banelings are rolling in. Clem, a little sloppy in the center of the map. You can't give Serral an inch or it'll take a kilometer. 3-3 about to complete for Clem. A slight advantage there. Parasitic bomb onto the medevacs. Widowmine's drilling claws. Burrow gets a shot and clears out a bunch of the Zerglings at the end of the day. More Zerglings running in. +3 melee and Carapace nearly done. But the Terran army already has a target fire on the Banelings. The trades are so good. Clem has a secondary career in the stock market, and for good reason. All right, that joke didn't quite land. But the medevacs have... G! Clem just takes... What? Serral types 3 Gs. Just make it up for that one extra game he has to start off. And wow, what an Clem hits the ground running. Hits the stim pack, guns down a few Banelings, then pops right back into the medevac to complete that whole analogy there. But, wow. Any doubts dispelled? I don't know if there were any. Why would there be any doubts? Clem is by far... you know what? I was going to say by far is too much. No, by far, at this point in StarCraft 2, the best Terran against Serral. And in general. He plays the full game. He'll sell you the entire seat, but sometimes you only need the edge. Those Widowmine hits helping to turn the tides. But the Marine Micro holding Serral at bay. The Widowmines themselves don't change everything. It's potentially demonetization inducing as my reaction to the hits they might be. Oh my god. Even thinking about Widowmines gets me all tongue-tied. PTSD, post-traumatic sentinel missile drama. But god, those are some good hits though. Oh my god. 100 Zerglings per minute. Not even Serral can sustain that. That is... Here's a... I'm gonna break a wall for you guys. So usually I like to follow some of the in-game observers. Not the Protoss ones. We don't have those in the finals. But whenever I get a Clem game, I really like to follow Comeback TV, which are the French casters, because they're always paying close attention. So whenever I decide to borrow a point of view, I like theirs. Because, you know, they might be a little biased, but... On Radicet Station, a map filled with minerals. I was deciding when I wanted to go with that one. Definitely one of our more dramatic maps. The Pocket Base, creating a potential drop location. It's inspired by King Sejong Station. which should jog more than a few memories, as it was one of the most common and frequently played maps for the end of Heart of the Swarm and the beginning of Legacy of the Void, which, all right, make sure you've scheduled your yearly physical, because I'm about to make you feel old. Not that you shouldn't get one anyways. Moving on. Not giving medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on the internet. Stop. Legacy of the Void came out over 8 years ago. All right. StarCraft 2 came out over 13 years ago, which is more than half of Clem's life ago. And Serral's, I think, but not by much. Kind of crazy. Not kind of crazy. The first time when Serral won his world championship in 2018, that was 6 years ago. But he's maintained. And that is why I think the argument's that he's not the greatest of all time. If only he could solve ZVZ. We need to nerf Zerg so much, only Serral makes it to the playoffs. Like, isn't that just Protoss? Shh. Shh. Keep the Protoss in the group stage. Well. If Serral didn't have to play ZVZ, he would have won 5 World Finals in a row. Alas. Now, make of that what you will. Well, he's lost some pretty high-profile non-ZVZs, but it just seems that that matchup, especially with Solar and Raynor, making things difficult for him. But his Zerg versus Terran and Protoss have always been defining. Serral is the standard. Okay, it's not Dark. Dark is. But Serral is the standard. Even when Dark won the finals. Alright, well, that did not go well for those Hellions. It's going to be a Roach one this time around. Notably, no Roach one last game. Is there a third command center for Clem? Indeed, there is. Hey, he's going to stick with his guns and his drugs, just like my neighbors, but... Clem with 3 CC, 3 Rex. He's got double engineering bay on the way, and 2 medevacs. The medevac's a little quicker this time around. Kind of delaying the upgrades just a bit. Okay, that's not your natural, Clem. Did he see something? Clem? That's like leaving your garage and parking in the street kind of situation. I don't know. Well, oh, he has the Hellion. All right. Kind of. Does he think it's Mutas? Oh my god, he thinks it's Mutas so hard. He did not drop. What did he see? Clem is acting like Mutas are about to fly into his base. He's building turrets. He's got Whittle Mines. He kept the Marines in his base. Yeah, I mean, all signs point to Clem. He scans and he sees a Roach Warren. Now, Overseer comes in. Serral makes surprising use of them. Now the medevacs will now pick up. I have no idea exactly what he saw, but that was a very odd move to pick up, boost the medevacs, and then drop them at your natural. That reduces... Serral's at 83 drones and counting. He's got a hive on the way. That's the difference. That's the difference a minute and a half can make. Last game, Clem was pressuring the 4th, keeping the drone count down. Now, Serral should have more than enough roaches. He's got 89 drones. What happened? I think, like, Clem might have, like, heard a spire. He hallucinated the sound of a Muta. All right, they are scary. But now he's lost all map control, giving Serral the opportunity to get the entire tech tree. Infestation Pit, obviously done. Plenty of Roaches and Ravagers. +1 Carapace is going to be done. +1 Melee is the choice. Going to follow it up. Oh my god, and Serral is looking to get a contaminate. But awkwardly, there isn't even 2-2 because the armory isn't done. The Overseer just kind of glides by. Serral is more than ready to bat this down at the back here. So Clem, nothing's really happened, but he can't, there's already Vipers. So it just brings in some changelings. You really, like, I fear for Clem here. As last game, he essentially had his hand right on the pulse of Serral's economy. Where if Serral just made even a tiny misstep, or even no misstep at all, he was still able to limit it. This time around has been a macro simulator for Serral. Ultraless Cavern is nearly done. Clem has killed 8 Zerglings and 2 Roaches. I can't stress how much space he gave up there. Because he went for the double medevac, and then did nothing with it. Which is, otherwise you'd rather just get upgrades quicker, so this is going to be quite a tone shift. Not that Serral is going to win the game right off this. No, but an Ultra Cavern, that scan just barely able to see it. We should see the Ghost Academy immediately. Clem immediately, he's sending most of his units out there. He knows that Ultra Cavern can't have been done for too long. We're 9 minutes in. Oh my. We're gonna see some real beefy Ultras here though. Chitinous plating is on the way. Clem, he's maxed out. 2-2 in production. I don't know, was he trying to build? There's some changelings back there. The Bio Army just sprinting across, trying to get the stims in, realizing that Roach Ravager, you don't really need anything at home to defend. He's going to bring everything to bear. And an awkward amount of yanks in the tank. The Bio Army trying to move up. Already needs some healing from the stims to get across the map. But Serral was just freeing up supply for Ultralisks. He has some in production at the base that's currently under attack. Banelings roll in! And Clem, that's not nearly enough. 2-2 is done. But Serral. Clem gave him too much space. This is terrifying. Ultras. He's getting Dropper Lords. It's gonna take a valiant and incredibly cost-efficient defense combined with whatever he can do to counterattack. Widowmine Drop is being sent out. Drilling Claws is done. Banelings, not enough. The Ultra not on the front lines here, so it's gonna have a tough time. But even one Ultralisk is essentially too much to contend with at this point. Widowmine Drop. Drilling Claws is done. The Zerglings, not enough. For not too many drone kills. Oh wait, there's still a mine. This will keep Serral busy. Retargeting, recalculating. Actually takes it out while he was trying to be fancy with the retargeting. Clem's, yes, Cletus, the accidental cyclone, is joining us yet again. There's no way he's building those cyclones on purpose. My theory is that with the cyclone being moved to a reactor and no longer needing a tech lab, he is accidentally building it with his grid keys on his factories that should be building Widow Mines. My evidence for that is that I've done it before since the patch as well, so. Oh my god. Ultraless Drop! Ultraless Drop Harass! Oh, a storied strategy that has not seen use for, well, I mean, the Ultras, not known for working well in tight spaces. The Widowmine's doing terrible, terrible damage to both sides here. Yeah, well, he burrows the Ultra. Yeah, that didn't work out. Clem is forced to abandon this base. Serral has plenty of money to throw around here, and indeed he's throwing it. That was an optimistic move, but it looks like we're headed down the Broodlord path. As Serral builds a Spire, 3 Infestors, Neuroparasite, double drop headed north. There was an Overlord in position. The Queens are angry about it. Get off my queen! The Marines, takes out the Overseer. I guess a consolation there. Liberators being set up for to use advanced ballistics. We've seen Serral use Mass Corruptor as well. I actually really like that style of play. Ends up working out really well, especially against a Terran if you're able to limit their economy. Zerglings running forward to draw out the Widowmine hits. Not all of them able to make it far enough. The Corrosive Vials knocking down a Liberator there. And the Burrow Fester is spotted. More of them. Fungal makes some of these units uncomfortable. The other Infestors are on the other side of the map. Not entirely. Widowmine. And Clem, well, he's maxed out. He doesn't have nearly as much money in the bank. But Serral, a bit of a false start with that drop. Unable to get the critical damage done. I wonder, the sandworms here. Let's see. How visible are they? You can really see them if you're looking. We'll see if Clem, does he see? You gotta be looking for the worm sign. Ah! That's scared! He's scared. He felt it. He felt it rather than saw it. Maybe he smelt it. But either way, he dealt with it. And another one, this time from the north side. Well, from the south, rather. But Fungal, Ultras, the ghosts on the back line. Widowmines connecting. Liberators being dealt with. Serral still handling it on the side. Another Infestor underneath. Tries to turn it around. Liberator, Fungal, Banelings rolling in. Big connection. The ghosts are just melting. The acidic splash from the Banelings. Just more than enough. Pinning Clem down is difficult. But he manages to do it. The Widowmines will recharge. Don't let him hit you on the way out. Unfortunately, Serral didn't get the memo. Infestors. Caduceus Reactor. Finally, someone seeing the... Well, it's only 100-100. It doubles the energy regen of Medivacs. So, it's a replacement for rapid reignition thrusters. So, late game Medivac upgrade. Mind drop. That Liberator in the top right corner needs... Oh, no! Needs Corruptors to deal with it. Another Liberator sieging up. Or getting ready to siege up. Advanced Ballistics. I don't know why I did that. I felt... You know what? I'm not going to question it. Just let it go. Let it happen. Serral versus Clem, guys. Oh my god. They're so good. It's stressing me out so much. Anyway, back to the game. The Cyclones. Super totally intentional Cyclones. Pops up a Fungal. Tries to follow it up. The Zerglings draw a shot. Knock a Medivac out of the sky. But wait, there's more. Serral's House of Horrors will continue. The Infestors will continue until morale improves or all the Terrans are dead. Widowmines take a heavy toll on the way across the map. But Clem is still struggling to get enough supply to stay even on the board. And Serral still has money in the bank. He manages to just have so much larva, plenty of Ultras, Vipers, and nearly full energy. These Widowmines, he does remember. He does remember the Widowmines. The Hero Corruptor is clearing out the Liberators that have been annoying, poking, and prodding Serral from long range for quite a while. A single Baneling burrow, a scouting Baneling, which is a remarkably valuable Baneling. Liberator. Gold base has been taken here for Serral. Widowmines recharging throughout the field. Vipers. How many Overseers out there? There's only one, which is not nearly enough. Fungal can technically detect. That scouting Baneling helping out a lot. But Clem, to his credit, has managed to drive. I really thought Serral would run him over, but this is not an easy map to run anything over. The sheer distance between the players, the field, the space they have to work with, and Clem is using all of it. The Widowmines, huge connection. Another attack to the north side. Vipers looking for parasitic mobs. Banelings rolling in. Parabomb. Clem not microing back quite in time. Loses another Medivac. But those Widowmines keep connecting. There's still 2 out of the 4. Finally cleaned up. Serral starting to take more dramatic losses, but only 4,000 more minerals lost. He's mined 5k more. Only 400 more gas lost, and he's mined 2k more. So, honestly, that difference you see in the bank right there, right now. Clem has managed to take almost half the map, which is a winning move if he's able to maintain it. The deciding base, I think, will be Clem's gold. Which, okay, he keeps making cyclones. I really want to, maybe I'll just ask him. Like, are you intentionally making, like, 2 or 3 cyclones at this stage of the game? It feels like an incredibly weird choice for someone who has no mech weapons upgrades, only +1 plating. I think it's a misclick. I'm going, like 58% chance of a misclick. But they certainly haven't hurt too bad either. They're not very vulnerable to fungal. They're kind of tanky. I don't think they're better than Hellbats at tanking, but... Wow. No respect at all. Clem just burrows, despite the entire Zerg army being there, and racks up 9 kills and some Zerglings to boot. Another fungal, though. It looks like the Widowmons will turn against the Ghost. Manages to save a couple. But Clem is forced back yet again. Serral just cannot end it. And Clem is starting to build a bank. Oh, Infestor. Sniped. Popped like an overripe tomato. 3-3. Both sides. We got +2 ranged attack, +2 flyer attack. Serral might go for a game-ending Broodlord switch. If he finds the opportunity. 4 Liberators at a time, and Clem has taken that fateful gold. The base that is going to be hardest to hold on to, but the only thing that keeps him even with Serral here. Another drop. An attack to the north. Oh my god, the Zerglings running through the targeting laser. Oh my. He sends out a Zergling to deal with it, handles it now. Impedes detection. Things slow down momentarily. We're reaching the end game. The end game, not the late game, but the end game is when the resources start mining out. We start having to ask how many mineral patches are left, rather than how many they're mining from overall. A nuclear missile in production. Nukes an endgame strategy for a lot of things. Flyer attack level 2. Here comes Serral again, headed towards that gold base. Splits off a few units. The main brunt of the army headed forward. Ultras being obliterated. But he clears out the gold. The orbital taking a lot of damage as well. Clem only has 54 SCVs. Still good enough with mules here. He's able to fill in a huge amount of army supply as well. The Infestor. He killed the turret. The beautiful fungal. But wait, there's more. No, he did not burrow in time. And that means several of the medevacs are going to get away, but Serral still struggling. He has to dodge his own corrosive vials. The Ultras getting pin cushioned here. The Liberator's hitting very hard, but Clem loses a lot of valuable supply in that fight. Serral gets a huge amount of kills. That was a straight-up win for Serral. He kills 5 Liberators, 5 Ghosts, some Widowmines, only loses Zerglings and an Ultra. A few other scattered units. And some more Ghosts getting eviscerated by the blades of the Ultra. Oh, rarely do you see him get quite so close. Doesn't go well for the Ghosts usually at that point. Liberator sieges up, more Corruptors on the way as Serral looks to clear out the Liberators. He just needs to be able to dislodge that position. He needs something to clear out Clem's air, because that's the only thing able to deny the ground. Clem no longer has the standing army really capable of beating Serral's Ultraling Bane. Also so exciting to actually see Ultras. Though, their weaknesses of not being able... They're not quite tall enough to headbutt the Liberators. Clem gonna try to retake that gold. One more time. The Infestor's right underneath. He actually gets a fungal at point blank. The Liberators are protecting the base. The overlapping Venn diagram of freedom. Parasitic bomb. The Corruptors are coming in. Neural Parasite is done. Corruptor's knocking out some of these Liberators pretty much free here. Clem sending more and more out, but his mining is starting to run low. Is that true, though? Yeah, not... Well, he's still got 2,500. He's still got 2.5 mining bases, which is healthy enough. Serral's got 8K in the bank, though. Only 2,900 gas. So, that could end up being the deciding characteristic. Infestor pops up. We don't mind looking for a connection. Cyclone's starting to look more and more intentional as time goes on. Finding some value in chasing down retreating units here. I still think it's an accident. He's just using it. Meanwhile, fungal, decent connection. Ultra's chasing down and is forced to pick up yet again. Serral is still maxed out, but Clem beaten down to 149 supply. Again, Clem will land in orbital. Serral trying to take the 6 o'clock base. By all rights, if we were playing fair, which we never do, it should be Clem's base as well. Clem takes out the hatchery. The Widowbine takes a lot of Zerglings. But the army is cleaned up, and Clem cannot rebuild. He's struggling. Every fight, his supply ends up lower and lower. He really needs a big win here. Those infestors are everywhere. Does he see the worm sign?
We're returning fire.
That's never good. The medevacs somehow out of energy despite the Wait, no, they're at full energy. Never mind. Caduceus reactor, pretty good. The damage health bars weren't showing it correctly. The Ultras off a creep. He has Ultra speed, right? They're still not quite fast enough. Clem, he's starting to mine out, but the ghost count has grown again, but there's always another infestor. The rule of Serral. Another set, and he just absolutely annihilates the entire army. And the real surprising part of that fight is Clem didn't GG right there, is what I was getting to. But he took a moment, he looked around, he said, well, do I have anything left? And the answer is no. He fought to the bitter end. 700 Zerglings, 39,000 minerals, 10,000 gas. Clem losing 28 Liberators, 28 Ghosts, 73 Widow Mines. An absolutely brutal, devastating game. But Serral never lost momentum. And that's why I say you just can't let him have it in the first place. You can't afford to give Serral any space. I still have no idea why Clem did he think? He clearly thought there were mutas on the way. It popped into his brain that mutas were incoming, right now. Because otherwise, it makes no sense to sit in your base with those 2 medevacs against roaches. No sense at all. So that one moment may haunt Clem the rest of this series, as that was the moment he gave up all of the map control to Serral, and he never really got it back. The game went on 20 more minutes, but he never got it back. Exhausting. And we're just getting started. God, they're so good. Honestly, the fact that Clem was even able to make it to the 15-minute mark, let alone nearly 30. It's weird we're using the time-based benchmarks, but Serral had 90 drones and Hive with Ultras at 9 minutes. Okay, I guarantee you that everyone here, everyone watching this, unless Serral, hi, I know you're a big fan, right? Big fan. Please sign my comment section. Anyways, everyone watching this, including me, would struggle to get 90 drones and Ultraless producing by 9 minutes. With no opponent. Okay. Without an opponent existing. Let alone having to build roaches, just constantly scouting, keeping up and deflecting the first medevac drops. That's you get up the entire tech tree with a ridiculous economy. And you're facing Clem. So, like... Hellion drop build. What? That's a spicy choice. I don't even know how Hellions work underwater. Terran magic. Clem? Trying to deny the third base here. Please, sir. Please, this is private property. Reaper leaves. Clem, starport. I have not seen this work. Like, I've seen Clem and others try this sort of build against Zerg. It feels like we should have left it in Wings of Liberty. The reason you build the starport out there is because if you build it in your base, you have 4 Hellions, and the medevac is only about halfway done. Another reason you build it out there is if you're going Cyclones. Wait, is it a Liberator then? No, it's... Now, I don't know what this is anymore. He's building Cyclones. I mean, that did not go well for Reaper. Hellion show up just in time to see the Reaper gliding away. Roach Warren. Serral. Decides not to wall off. Interesting. And just goes for a little further back. There was a clear decision as he decided against it. It is a Liberator. Okay. I didn't really register it, but yeah. Liberator makes more sense with the Cyclones, as medevac drop Cyclones don't really do anything more than regular Cyclones would. With the Liberator hitting so early. Likely, everybody remembers Spore 20, but Serral not expecting a Liberator at all. And the Cyclones pressuring forward, trying to keep the Queens busy while the Liberator denies the mining. So Clem putting out a lot of early pressure here, but it did delay his third command center. Spore Crawler. Well, the Queen taking some hits too. Gotta be careful. Can't even dip a toe into that Liberator zone, or it'll get a shot off. I'm gonna deny it, I think, right up until the starport headed back home. Do you know that floating Terran buildings move faster than overlords without speed? Fun fact for Terrans. Well, the Liberator. Spore Crawler got it. Zergling's looking for a surround. Serral actually splitting him well enough. Gonna get a Cyclone. He's picked apart this attack quite well here. Huh. Well. I'm not quite sure where that leaves us. Because Serral now has a decent economy. He's got a lair finishing. But Clem does have double engineering bay, way quicker than Serral has his Evo chambers. By way quicker, I mean 30 seconds, which is a lifetime with these two. Clem has 52 SCVs. Serral just got to 66 drones and counting. So he's not at a terrible economy at all. I think... Therefore I am... No. I'll call that a marginal success. If only because Serral's clearly in kind of an awkward spot as well. And I think that favors Clem if he's able to keep the pressure up. Honestly, if Clem's able to stay at the edge of the creep, keep it at bay, keep the drone count down, if only by forcing units to be built, well, that is at least half the battle. So, always could have been better, though. Definitely an interesting opener. Double medevac on the way. We got 1-1. Clem with a distinct advantage. Nearly a minute on the upgrades. It's just going to be mass roaches for Serral. But, unfortunately, the Zerglings get by. They may kill an SCV or two. Clem's SCV micro is actually perfect. It doesn't even lose a mule. And now gonna clear up a lot of the creep as Serral has nothing here to stop him. Yeah, a whole bunch of creep. Roach speed is done. How many roaches even are there? 28. Wait, what? Where are they? Oh, he's hiding them. Oh, he's gonna come out swinging. Serral is hiding these roaches. He gave up the creep and oh my god, Clem has no idea. And what he doesn't know very much can hurt him. A few roaches. Oh my god, he's hiding it so well. Yeah, a few roaches. Where are the roaches? Where are the rest?
Surprise, motherfucker.
Serral shows up at the front door completely unannounced. He masked it so well. And now Clem is scrambling into his bane. It's a disaster for the Frenchman. And he may be dead on arrival. GG! Serral! He's showing he can mind game with the best of them. Oh my. I think a little bit upset about how silly that build was. Wow. He just walked across and backhanded him. Well, that puts Serral on match point, just like that. Wow. He pulled one over on Clem. This time around, well, Clem tried to put the pressure on, and it didn't work out so well for him. Though it was definitely an odd start. Serral hit that so well. Even showing the few roaches you'd normally have, right? Like with the queens to drive back the medevacs. Literally, it was coming up his natural ramp as Clem flew over it with the medevacs. That was when it was spotted. And that was about a minute too late. It's another one of those series where it's not so much that Serral, well, of course Serral's playing amazing. It's Serral. But it's not like Clem is playing poorly. That last game, even though it was kind of an odd build, it's not like he executed it poorly. He definitely did quite well. Serral just kind of shrugged it off, though. Serral's just that little margin better. Especially after hard lead, which is usually a map where Terran players are able to exert a lot more pressure. The map's just smaller, physically smaller. Which means it's quicker to get your armies across the map and start keeping the Zerg at bay. Well, Gold Nora is not particularly large itself, but there are a lot more paths to circumvent armies. You know what I haven't seen in a while, and I don't think Clem is going to do at all? Battle cruisers. I'm just throwing it out there because I know it gets people excited, including myself. But battle cruisers. I haven't seen a battle cruiser opener or even really any sort of mech. Clem feels almost accidentally throwing cyclones in on Radisson. More intentionally that last game on Ocean Build, but we'll see what we got in game 5. Mule? Why did the mule come down the road? What's going on there? That was odd. Indeed. Yeah. It's not supposed to happen. Roach horn at 3.5 minutes. As the kids say. Pretty sus, bro. Did the Reaper spot it? No. Serral's got some games to burn as well. Important point. If he wants to do a roach, what that means is if he wants to do a roach all-in, there's not a small chance. Even if it fails, he has that on the board as something Clem has to worry about. I mean, last game he did a roach hunt. It was just a bit more involved. Cloak on the way. And Cloak Banshee is going to be the choice for Clem. Falling back to the old classics. Hellions thinking about running in. He spotted the roach one.
Our forces are under
And now, of course, he spots the roaches. So.
Ready to raise some hell.
Banshee. First Banshee out. And with the Banshee, he's going to have that basic defense against any sort of early roach timing. At some point, there are so many roaches, a couple Banshees are not going to be enough DPS. But they're mostly there as another form of poking and prodding. They're a budget battlecruiser in that. Serving much the same purpose overall. I can't get over how well played that mind game was from Serral. He showed... the beauty of it was that he didn't show a completely different strategy. He just hid how much he was committed to it. By showing a few roaches, he made it less obvious how many there were. It'd be much more suspicious if you only showed the queens. Because then it'd be like, okay, well, there's got to be something else out there. I'm still wondering why Clem was so convinced there were mutas in game 1. That was, stands out as a very odd situation still. Banshees. Well, Overseer's done. Banshee's adding a lot of damage against the roaches. Serral's at 71 drones. Infestation pit on the way. Overseer coming in, getting the lay of the land here. Gonna see, oh my god. Wow, crazy. He's going for 5 racks, a factory, in double engineering bay. And if Serral is surprised by that, he has a lot less object permanence and memory than I thought. Well, the Banshees find a decent angle. So the Queens are coming up to voice their complaints and maybe occasionally get a shot off. Hellions looking for an opportunity. Will he scan? Well, he's going for the natural, and actually Serral is not there. Gonna get some of the drones. 8 drones. Honestly, more than 0 is a surprising number. 11 drones. The Hellions have pretty much, at this point, expired as a useful unit, especially against the mass roaches. So getting 11 drones and some decent scouting is about the best you can hope for. Clem can't be too unhappy with that. Marines on the way across the map. First 2 medevacs. Combat shield still a long way off. Lurker Den for the very first time on the way. The roach count is high enough to, especially against those uncombat shielded Marines, be able to melt through them rather quickly. +1 armor. Wait, did he contaminate? Why is +1 attack so much later? It's a weird amount of energy on the Overseer. Maybe he did. But yeah, +1 infantry weapons being significantly later is definitely an odd spot. A couple changelings at the edge of the main here. Well, Zerglings aren't going to be enough to deal with the Marines. 1-1 is now done. Ranged attack upgrades. Hive is spotted. A scan at the natural will see the entirety of the tech tree. He sees the Lurker Den complete. Hydra Den there, of course. And if he's looking closely, he'll see that the Evo chambers weren't upgrading at the moment. Not that that's particularly relevant. Clem Ghost Academy is on the way. He doesn't... He's not going to try to out-micro the Lurkers without ghosts, which is a recipe for disaster. Everyone thinks they're Flash, but this isn't the Brood War. Those Lurkers are just far too effective. With ghosts and potentially Liberators alongside tanks. There are a lot of softer counters to the Lurkers here. But of course it depends on how you take the fight. Concussive shells. Halfway done. We got Lurker range completing. +2 weapons just started. for Clem. Serral switching into melee attacking Carapace. Fourth base nearly completed. Serral is trying to get rid of some of his roaches now. He's got 7 dropper lords on the way. He wants to fight. He wants to lose the roaches, ideally to kill anything in return. He'll get a tank and a marauder. Okay, well that we'll call it a trade. But roach laundering is real. Okay, know it when you see it. He's clearly just trying to get rid of those roaches, and he doesn't want to pay him severance. So Serral throws him at the siege tank and says, "Have at it, boys." And now the army. Lurkers and Zerglings. There is no way Marines are going to be dealing with this. Especially with the Vipers above. Even without them, it would be an impossible order. The mass dropper lords. A lurker drop is in the card. So I'm going to try it again. It wasn't the game ender with the ultras in game 2. But lurkers are something different. Ultra's not able to take advantage of the tight spaces in the main nearly as much as the lurkers are. Yanks in an interesting choice on that abduct. The Zerglings are going to try to cover? Make sure that he doesn't have it? No, okay. Clem. There are Vikings in position. But that is a lot of overlords there. All right. Well, the dropper lords are on their way in towards the main. He actually micros one back. He may end up losing it, but the rest should be able to unload. Operation Overlord will commence. And the French main is invaded. The ghosts are here. The tanks, meanwhile, at the front. Here comes Serral again. Snipes looking for connect. Oh, just eviscerating the ghosts. Ghost getting some good shots up, but mostly this is keeping Clem at bay. Ooh, gets the Viper. And with that snipe, not even needing a snipe for it, yeah, he's repositioning the main, creating a no man's land. Splits, stims, scans, and takes out the lurkers. Clem has held, for now. Oh. The Banshees! The Banshees 12 minutes in. Finding an opportunity, keeping the lurkers back. There's actually no response to them. The Banshees finding value after so much time. And still going. They're gonna kill like 4 or 5 lurkers. Of course, as soon as a couple of Hydras get involved, it's gonna become a lot harder. But gets another lurker? At that point, I'm considering rebuilding some Banshees. But of course, with any Hydras in support, they're easily able to knock them out of the sky. A Nidus on the way and an Overseer in a conspicuous position, at least to us. We'll see how Clem is able to handle it. +2 ranged attack done, benefiting the Hydras and the lurkers. Adrenal glands only now being added in. Baneling speed, neural parasite. Game slowing down. Clem knows it's on the line, and Serral, patient as Serral is. No infestors burrowed underneath at the moment. Right? Right. No infestors. He's just getting the upgrades. Snipe on the... at this point, build a sensor tower behind your base as well. He's got sensor towers covering almost everything else. But Serral is starting to take the map. Clem has 5 bases. He's building 4 more command centers. Serral's mining from the contested gold. One of the bases that could go either way, depending on who's in the lead right now. +3, still not done for Clem. +3 Carapace finishing for Serral. As we settle in. The Banelings about to complete their speed upgrade, but conspicuously don't have it yet. Still a Banshee with the army as well. A scan. No lurkers. Wow, pre-scan. We have a fusion core on the way. Though I imagine, for advanced ballistics, Caduceus reactor. Yamato can't... Okay, probably not. Snipe. Knocks down a Viper. Or out, rather. Kind of just explodes. Widow Mine, not nearly enough. The siege tanks, though, are going to keep the Zerg at bay. But the lurkers are closing in. And the Marines! Oh my god! Got it! Just a split second too late on realizing it, and all the Marines will die. And by all, I mean more than enough to deny this base. Greater Spire is on the way. Serral is locking things down, but Clem? He has money in the bank, and he is maxed out with the most cost-effective army in the game. Ghost Liberator, with unlimited scans to follow it up. He has 7 orbitals. He's building 3 more command centers. At around 8 or 9 orbitals, you can literally scan at all times, and sometimes twice at once. It just becomes a constant companion. Oh, some more ghosts getting picked up in the center of the map. Not all of them so lucky. The shelling will continue until morale improves. Interesting fight. Lines up shots on the lurker. I can't interrupt all the ghosts. Another ghost down. Another base getting ping cushioned by the Hydralisks. Doesn't actually chase it down. Clem trying to deny the gold. Serral hasn't been mining here for too long. Still has plenty of mineral patches. Serral actually bringing most of his army back. We now got those burrow festers. The ghosts. It's just Zerglings here, no banelings. The ghosts can actually fight the Zerglings on their own. Siege tanks picks up before the banelings can close in. And Serral replenishes his army with Hydras and Zerglings. Clem, Ghosts, Liberators, Tanks, Medevacs. He's got 2 more command centers in production. I think they're delayed. The drones are going to get gunned down. Not that Serral can't replace them. But, obviously you would rather not lose them if you don't have to. It looks like the gold base has been successfully annexed here by Clem. He's managed to take it out. Will he be able to claim it for himself in any sort of reliable fashion? A bit more doubt. Still some drones underneath. Drones fighting ghosts in the center of the map. Scans across all the tech. Where is that spire? Didn't he build a spire somewhere? Greater Spire is at the 3rd. He scans the main and the natural. Not that there's any corruptors or anything he needs out. Oh, the burrow fester. Looking for an opportunity. It's right underneath. Potential wombo combo. He sees the ghosts. No parabomb here. A fungal catches most of the ghosts. Bit of an awkward angle for a lot of Serral's army. And the ghosts are able to stand their ground. And knocks out another infester. The Lings will temporarily delay the command center from landing. They're also, of course, Serral's expanded to the top right as well. But Clem retaking this ground. Drops a mule that I think was meant to be a scan. Just making sure. Several burrowed units across the board. Clem continually scanning his own army. Just looking for that burrow fester. He's got 8 orbitals, going on 9. Scans the base. As Serral just decides, he's taking hatcheries like the AI now. Just taking anything he can get a hold of. Doesn't expect to keep it. But if he ends up for even any amount of time, those are minerals that Clem can't mine. Serral is playing the patient game. He may have lost this championship to Clem before, but he's not looking to make a habit of it. He's playing a very careful, very patient sort of Zerg. The ghosts are incredibly difficult to dismantle. It's going to take either one incredibly good fight or a long and arduous effort of removing them. I think Clem's gonna make it the second one. Zerglings and Banelings overrunning. Venn diagram of Liberators. Ultralisk Cavern on the way, more Hydras. We've got the fallback Liberators here. Widow Mines. Definitely blunting the effectiveness of the Zerglings. How many have we lost so far? 400. Serral's lost 10k more minerals and 1,000 more gas. His income has been... He's been in the advantage, except for a couple mule valleys there. But generally been mining significantly more than Clem. Which matters right up until it doesn't. Another orbital just kind of thrown in there to make things harder for Serral to dislodge. Clem, while he's not able to push back, there are only so many bases on the map. That is the defining characteristic that, as time goes on, becomes more and more and more relevant. Our most true split map game so far. Serral in the advantage, but not nearly so much so. He's waiting for Clem to lose one fight. It's going to take several massive losses before Clem even thinks about tapping out, especially considering the context. Yeah, it looks like Serral trying to drag it in for now. The Widow Mines are forcing him to micro back. Widow Mines actually hit the Vipers. Quite a bare bones defense overall. Fake medevacs? Are they fake, or did he mean to load those up? It's unclear. The Ghosts again yanks in the Liberators. Widow Mine burrows, taken out. Another Widow Mine gets some more damage done. Clem has a planetary on that bottom left. I'm assuming high-sec auto-tracking and building armor are done. Of course they are. There's still that Infestor hanging out with everything else. Great target fire on the planetary to negate the Banelings here, and that might actually save it. Indeed, the planetary saving itself. Able to take out enough Banelings to keep it alive and be repaired by the SCVs. So, Clem, he's got +3 mech weapons and +2 plating in production. As he fills in his army, still has upgrades to fill in. Some significant ones at that. We've got the Accidental Cyclone. Here comes Serral again. A bit of an obvious location. There's still that Infestor underneath. Getting hit by some splash damage there. The Blinding Cloud onto the tanks. The SCVs retreat through the Liberators in order to negate most of the Zerglings. And Serral? In 20 seconds, 100 Zerglings and 12 Hydras go down. But so do 6 Siege tanks, a couple Liberators, 3 Ghosts. A costly fight for Serral, but in gas, he was able to take out more, and that's the more important part. As Vespene gas, as time goes on, becomes the most important resource. 4 Ultras on the way. An interesting move. Serral not bothering with Broodlords. That is a lot of Banelings. A huge commitment here. Are there any Vipers? The Infestor gets a fungal, but doesn't catch that many of the Ghosts. Another fungal from the left side, though. We don't mind. I mean... Well, the Banelings roll in. They get some SCVs. It isn't... Well, again, we got to bring up the battle report. 69 Zerglings. A nice take for Clem, but Serral, okay. It was kind of hard to tell exactly what was going on underneath there. But Serral wipes out much of the strong ground army and the Liberators, and then follows up with Ultras. And now Clem is in a precarious position. The Ultras against an entrenched Terran are not particularly great, but against someone who has to rebuild the Ghost, who barely has any Liberators, the Ultras can just run over the field. A cinematic experience here for Clem, and not one that necessarily ends well for it. The Ultras are closing in. The Corruptors are clearing out the remaining Liberators. And the finisher with the finishing move. 120 supply. Clem is struggling to put anything but Marines on the field. The Corruptors are taking out the base. The minerals are almost gone. Clem has no real bases to mine from. The gold base is nearly gone. The 6 o'clock has just a couple mineral patches left. And Serral is still at 200 supply. He has 5K in the bank. And he has played this war of attrition in a way that literally only Serral can. Is he getting hurricane thrusters? Is that supposed to be blue flame, Clem? Oh no, he's misclicked blue flame. Not just the Cyclones when he meant to build Hellbats, but the Cyclone speed upgrade. That is definitely meant to be blue flame. Oh no, because he definitely wants Hellbats right now. He's not even building any Cyclones. It's a disaster. Is it the defining one? No. Will it matter? Probably not. Are the Ultras still the elephant? The slightly smaller than a couple patches ago, but elephant in the room? Indeed they are. And they continue to rampage. Clem still has a ton of army supply. No, Serral starting the long distance mine. He's mined out of most of his bases as well. If Clem... that lack of blue flame is gonna hurt. Those are otherwise fully upgraded Hell Chads. He's trying to mine with whatever mules he has. There's still 7 orbitals, so he can still scan. A Ventria scan there. Serral long distance mining from the last of the gold patches, the dregs here. And this is the last army Clem can build. The Ultras are rolling in. The Infestors underneath, a blinding cloud on the forward siege tank. The Ghosts line up the shots, and they may very well hold the line. More snipes, just enough energy. Clears it out. The orbital managed to lift, and Serral does not break Clem. He's not dead yet, and Serral is starting to run low on minerals. But Clem is running out. Can he press the issue? How many medevacs? 1. I don't care how caduceus your reactor is. That's not enough. God. So Clem needs to re-hotkey his factory. Which is a weird issue to have at this stage, but... the lack of blue flame Hellbats certainly isn't going to help. Especially with this many Zerglings and Banelings coming in, he's going to be forced to lift yet again. The Hellbats at the front. The Vipers looking for any sort of opportunity. Parasitic Bomb sieges up the last couple Liberators. Clem at 100 supply. Serral dipping low, and he will hold. Clem will hold. The orbital is burning. No, it burns. And with it, an apt metaphor for Clem's state. He researches blue flame. His income is near 0. Serral still has 1 base mining. It will take everything. Serral has no minerals left. But Clem is right there with him. That last Infestor. The Ultras looking for an angle. He knows the Infestors are there, but he hasn't registered it yet. He can't line up the shots. There's not enough Terran left. And Serral lands another fungal. The Ultras are chewing through the very last ghost, and Serral is your European champion. Rank 1 versus Rank 2, and Serral reigns supreme. The king will remain on his throne. It took everything. Serral is completely out of money. He has the gas. I lied. Vespine gas doesn't end up being the most important. It is the sheer minerals left over. Clem, you can't say he didn't fight to the bitter end. Every single mineral and gas. Over 100,000 resources in under 30 minutes. We ran out of map. They're so good at slaughtering their opponent's armies. But at the end of the day, the king in the north, the finisher, the greatest of all time, Serral. 4-1. And that was the least 4-1 I've ever seen. that might end up being our... No, we're not going to put It's 4-1 in the title. That's a ridiculous spoiler. But even if you expected or knew the outcome, I think those games still never fail to impress. Well, hopefully you enjoyed an exhausting but worthy series. If you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome if you could check out Patreon, YouTube membership. Thanks for making my day a little bit better. I hope I made yours a bit better as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you to ESL, as always, for putting on this top tier StarCraft 2. Congratulations to Serral, and we're always going to be looking out for Clem. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.